Hi everyone, this is Group Dream and Drama with our members Charlie, Wendy, Hermione, Jonas, and me, Gabriel. Today we are presenting our site, Alexandra Canal and Sheas Creek, the artificial canal and the forgotten creek. Before we start, we would like to acknowledge the Gadigal, Gamigo, and Wango people of the Eora Nation and pay respect to elders past, present, and emerging, as the traditional custodians of the land we meet on today. We recognize their connection to this country and to this land, to where we are presenting now named as Alexandra Canal and Sheas Creek, and their role in caring for and maintaining country over tens of thousands of years. We acknowledge that Aboriginal sovereignty has not been ceded. As mentioned, our waterway study is Alexandra Canal and Sheas Creek, but actually that was once only the Cooks River and the creek. So how did Sheas Creek become the Alexandra Canal? How did this part of the city have pushed industrial in and people out of this location? As when we visited the site, there is only the canal can be seen. So our key topic will focus on pollution and accessibility as to explore the remnants of country of this waterway, starting with the larger Sydney context.
In terms of macro scale, the Alexandra Canal doesn't have large catchment due to its length and is covered with buildings on both sides. The Alexandra Canal is a tributary of Cook River. For 2 centuries, factory outfalls has been discharging industrial wastewater and waste into the Cook River. The river has been polluted and the vegetation has been destroyed. It also contains large amount of toxic substances due to the Salon House Act of 1849, which required all nurses trade to be operated more than 1.6 kilometers from the city area. Various factories were relocated to Sheas Creek, and the industrial wastewater and rubbish were discharged into the canal after simple treatment. During the field trip, it was found that rubbish and industrial wastewater are still in the canal today. The original Aboriginal inhabitants of Alexandra Canal are the Gadigal people. The area was an Aboriginal fishing area. During the excavation of Sheas Creek in 1896, the remains of the Gadigal were found. They found the animals had been butchered by the blunt-edged cutting or chopping instrument. Two stone heads were found nearby. They provide evidence of Aboriginal inhabitants who lived in the area prior to European settlements. Alexandra Canal was just created before 1860. Diligent commenced in 1887 to adapt Sheas Creek to a canal. The canal, as originally planned, was substantially completed in 1900. In 1948, the deep clay brick piece became a major municipal waste depot for Sydney. Household rubbish was dumped into the former brick piece until 1976. When St. Peter's Deep was finally closed, it replaced to a new regional park. It also included the recreation reserve redevelopment. Sydney Water launched a 4 million plan to clean and restore the condition of the water. The plan was abandoned due to the budget overruns. Alexandra Canal Master Plan states that it will transform the canal into the Venice of Sydney. In 2008, it was stopped due to the cost of restoring the waterways and the land size. The restoration order states that the best sediments of the Alexandra Canal were affected by a range of contaminants, and the several actions were needed to resolve them. Cook River Alliance Action Plan points out to monitor, evaluate, and benchmark the ecological health of the Cook River catchment and to increase understanding and knowledge about catchment monitoring and the ecological river health. The Cook River Ecological Health Report Card states improving the ecological health of the river through improvements in water quality, water flow, and the protection and expansion of aquatic and riparian habitats, and improving general access. Strategic plans state monitoring water quality provides an understanding of how urbanization and other stressors affect the health of the aquatic ecosystems.
Moving a bit closer to our waterway, this map shows the Cooks River catchment area, for which our site sits on the right side as a major tributary of the whole river system, but surrounded by huge industrial lands. Zooming in onto a meso scale, we start with this map showing a comparison from pre-European invasion and existing environmental conditions. We could see that Sheas Creek was once 1/10 of the length of what is now as a canal. It is a dividing edge between the clan's country and was heavily surrounded by salt marsh and mangroves beside the creek. The waterway acts as a gathering and hunting ground, hosting three different language groups of the Gadigal, the Howell, and the Rug. Interesting fact is the current highway sits on top of the original ridgeline, but for the waterway as comparison, it had been greatly altered with surrounded by industrial instead. Onto topography and catchment. Since Alexandra Canal is artificially constructed through dredging and channelization, the major tributaries are only Shear Creek and Freshwater Creek, as being a subcatchment of Cooks River with an area of 23 square kilometers. While also as comparison, the contour shows the landscape is much flatter and modified compared on the left, while its catchment is influenced by large industrial grounds, so it is in an unnatural form. By cutting sections in between the canal, we could further see how the industrial area on both sides acts as a barrier for accessibility and a pollution hazard for the canal, where these stormwater and industrial sediments are easily sloped across into the canal with no soft features, and thus accumulating contaminants on the riverbed. It was largely due to past poor management and wastewater discharges, but we could still see construction workers hosing dust and industrial waste with no proper drainage or barrier can be seen.
And this human-centered management can even be seen in geology and its current soils, as it mainly sits on continental lands. All its soil is heavily disturbed and man-made. Alexandra Canal suffers in being highly polluted to land reclamations and industrial wastewater discharge. Although there was a 4 million restoration project and a 300 million redevelopment proposal submitted with multiple designs, it was ultimately cancelled due to being deemed by the EPA to be too dangerous to disturb. Gradually, in combination to these environmental features and conditions, Alexandra Canal have eventually become a hot spot for all types of pungent chemical pollutants such as pesticides and heavy metals, greatly accumulating a thick layer of bad sediments that poses significant harm to human health and to the environment. What they only can do now is to border the creek with fences and set up warning signs. Yet, this only further isolates people from connecting to this part of the waterway catchment. Vegetation's coverage are also discontinuous and fragmented within the set area, while pedestrian roads are sometimes blocked off, weeds and grass overgrowing on the concrete walls along the canal, causing the environment to be unfavorable, inaccessible, and inconvenient to any types of leisure activities.
Fortunately, different surrounding councils and municipal governments have formed an alliance in aid to restore the whole Cooks River catchment with its planning scheme and collaboration with local communities, setting their vision on restoring the health of the river and building a strong community with different engagements through ecological education and traditional acknowledgement projects. Their aim to build relationship on people with the river reflects the idea of connecting and caring for country. With this map shows the boundaries between different councils and their suburbs. We could see that Alexandra Canal and Sheas Creek is bordered with three different councils, where all belongs to the part of the alliance. Even though they are still in stage 2 of the monitoring program, it is still a starting point for a communal effort to restore the health of the estuary and encouraging communities to build connections via the canal, which brings people closer to country. Now moving on to micro scale.
Divided the Alexandra Canal into two parts. Micro 1 is on the north side of the canal, where you can find a near absence of open space along the canal. This shortage restrains public access to and enjoyment of the river, leading to decreased utility and public engagement. Such a lack results in fragmented landscape, obstructing streamless movement and affecting the accessibility and connectivity for pedestrians. In terms of land use, it's evident that the river is surrounded by general industry and productivity support zone. This correlates with the industrial history of the Alexander Canal. This area used to be a major industrial manufacturing zone, and now it mainly caters to light industrial and productivity support. This zone creates a barrier that hinders pedestrians' access to the river. Emissions and wastewater from the manufacturing process within the industrial zone often lead to increased level of air and water pollution. We find that the public and private interface are mainly concentrated on Barrow Road, marked by the red line, Hintley Street, and behind Campbell Road Bridge. Here is one entrance each that lead to the canal. On the east side of the canal, there's a single entrance to a private building that provides close access to the canal. Again, the accessibility is poor. Due to poor accessibility around the river, both public transport and private vehicles cannot reach the riverside. Pedestrians and cyclists are limited to using shared paths located about 300 meters to source. Fences around the river's bank obstruct visitors from approaching the river, limiting opportunity for interaction with riverfront area. Beyond accessibility, pollution is a concern, especially pulp discharge. Given South Sydney's industrial history, there are many potential pollution sites. Soil contamination also impacts stormwater channels and the canal, as toxic substances are discharged into stormwater system, eventually flowing to Botany Bay. The canal, once used for transportation, now serves as a drainage outlet for stormwater from surrounding areas. 7 pipelines discharge sewage and stormwater, and the area around the canal often experience the impacts of sewage overflow.
As seen here, northern part of river, the area has a large variety of plants, mainly concentrated in the Sydney Park, and some small shrubs and aquatic plants along the river. Among these, Sylvian is an invasive aquatic plant that will rapidly release phosphorus, calcium, and magnesium as it decomposes. It will increase pollution of rivers. Animal distribution in the northern part of the river is shown here. One of the most abundant species is the common ringtail possum, which is mostly in the center of Sydney Park, and we can see that there is a rich variety of animals. These 4 buildings have a distinctive appearance and are newer than the surrounding ones, all of which are integrated buildings that include retail, office, entertainment, supply, technology, and restaurant industries. They form a more active small commercial district with office, business, and entertainment, which can attract the other brands to move in.
Micro 2 is located on the northern side of Alexander Canal, with most of the canal situated in the inner west and bayside local government area. The northwest area of the site features vast open space and wetland. Our investigation reveals that the surrounding area of the canal is mainly used for general industry and productivity support. Serving as a major corridor for transportation and infrastructure, Sydney Airport serves as the key gateway. The federal government owns most of the land surrounding the canal, leased to Sydney Airport. Other lands around the canal are owned by local government, like Inner West Council or other private landowners. While the southern side of the canal near Sydney Airport is used for airport facilities, offering no barrier for access to the river, multi-level traffic structure can act as physical obstacles, restricting pedestrians and cyclists from direct access to the river, making it challenging for residents to reach the riverside. 3 entrances allow access to the river, mainly on both sides of the Nicola Bridge. The ongoing construction limited accessibility. Although there are some refurbished shared paths on both sides of the canal, few cyclists and pedestrians are seen. There is also a lack of sitting and street lights, making it difficult to preserve the area at night. While the open space in the northwest area of the site, previously the dump landfill, continued to face pollution impacts from leachate, affecting both the land and river. This high salinity land has the potential to damage the foundation of infrastructure, render the soil unfit for reuse as fuel, and may affect landscaping aesthetics. Salt-laden soil and water can damage concrete and metallic construction, including bridge piers and foundations. This may pose a threat to the Sydney Gateway under construction. And during the construction pause, leachate and discharge wastewater may pollute the river. Thus, the process can be used to mitigate pollution and protect the canal.
This is the plant distribution in the south part of the river, again dominated by small shrubs but less aquatic vegetation. And obviously, there are more vegetation species in the north than in the south. This is the fauna division of the southern portion of the river, which is clearly less diverse and less distributed than the northern portion. For people, there are a handful of benches along the river to rest on, but since this here is dominated by factories, very few people sit on the benches, and the environment of this rest area is not very good. The weeds around the area are not cleaned up and does not give a comfortable rest environment. The sensitivity of the public facilities in the area needs to be improved. The chart of the proportion of flora and fauna species based on data collected from the official website shows that the diversity of fauna is better than flora. The largest percentage of vegetation are privatized, and for animals are birds and insects.
Lastly, we would like to end on this diagram again of how Sheas Creek became Alexandria Canal, a lost but not gone waterway country. This is the end of our presentation. Thank you.